Here's my preview of the Baylor versus Oklahoma State men's basketball game. Granted, I don't know if Oklahoma State's going to receive any votes, and I don't know where Baylor's going to be ranked, but I expect at least top 15. They could easily be in the top 10 still. So I have to wait and see. And here, what are some players to keep an eye on, you ask? Caleb Boone, number 22, 6 foot 9 inch, 198-pound forward. That's a senior. 12 points per game, 1 for 7 on threes, 78 for 103 on free throws, 5.1 rebounds per game, 1.2 blocks per game, 1.9 turnovers per game, 0.6 steals per game, 2.4 fouls per game. Bryce Thompson, number 1, 6 foot 5 inch, 98, 6 foot 6 inch, 294-pound guard. That's a junior. 11.8 points per game, 50 for 136 on threes, 37 for 64 on free throws, 2.8 rebounds per game, 2.4 assists per game, 2.6 turns per game, 0.7 blocks, steals per game, 2.1 fouls per game. And right now, Avery Anderson has not played in a bit because he's out indefinitely with a wrist injury. So I'm not going to mention him. But if you want to know his stats in case he does play for some reason, check it out in the stats in the description below. John Michael Wright, number 51, 6 foot 1 inch, 190-pound guard. That's a senior. 10 points per game, 56 for 155 on threes, 38 for 47 on free throws, 2.8 rebounds per game, 1.8 turnovers per game, 0.9 steals per game, 1.7 fouls per game. Caleb Asbury, number 5, 6 foot 3 inch, 165-pound guard. That's a senior. 8.7 points per game, 42 for 121 on threes, 58 for 67 on free throws, 3.3 rebounds per game, 1.5 turnovers per game, 0.7 steals per game, 2.3 fouls per game. Now, CC CISSE. I apologize if I butchered that last name. He didn't play last time. This time he's going to play. Number 33, 7 foot 1 inch, 216-pound center. That's a junior. 6.5 points per game, 25 for 60 on free throws, 7.9 rebounds per game, 1.3 turnovers per game, 2 blocks per game, 2 fouls per game. Woody Newton, number 4, 6 foot 8 inch, 200-pound forward. That's a junior. 4.9 points per game, 16 for 47 on threes, now 17 for 28 on free throws, 3.6 rebounds per game, 0.8 turnovers per game, 2.1 fouls per game. Tyreek Smith, number 23, 6 foot 7 inch, 220-pound forward. That's a junior. 4.7 points per game, 1 for 5 on threes, 36 for 55 on free throws, 3.2 rebounds per game, 0.6 turnovers per game, 1 block per game, 1.1 fouls per game. Queon Williams, number 13, 6 foot 4 inch, 208-pound guard. That's a freshman. 2.6 points per game, 6 foot 30 on threes, 10 for 16 on free throws, 2.1 rebounds per game, 0.8 turns per game, 1.5 fouls per game. Chris Harris Jr., number 2, 6 foot 2 inch, 200-pound guard. That's a senior. 2.5 points per game, 15 for 60 on threes, 11 for 14 on free throws, 0.8 turns per game, 0.6 steals per game, 1 foul per game. That are some players to keep an eye on, and some of the other players are like 1 point per game or less, so I didn't mention them. Honestly, I will say this overall, going into this game, you gotta limit your foul trouble across the board, come out with energy, and you gotta start the second half stronger. I know you did that last game against Texas, but the prior 2 games, you can't have just a great first half and then fall off. You can't do that. You gotta have a good second half too. It's a 2-half game. I mean, and I don't know the status on Keontae George with that ankle injury, whether or not if he's gonna play. So I'm just putting that out there. So defensively, you gotta limit the shooters in this game. Can't get them comfortable at all. You gotta force some turnovers. You got to get some defensive rebounds like you did last game, especially. You got to do a little bit better job in limiting the points in the paint. And don't let them get to the free throw line. That's for sure. Don't let them get to the free throw line. And limit their fast break points, points on turnovers. Second chance points as well. You got to contain some of the shooters on the team. Now, offensively, you got to take care of the ball. You got to get to the free throw line. You got to get some points in the paint, even if it's just like layups. I mean, from guards or something. And you got to make some shots, of course, like threes. But if the three's not going in, drive to the basket. You got to have good selection. You got to take care of the ball. First of all, you got to get some offensive rebounds so he could get some second chance points. Get some fast break points. Get some points out turnovers. And, of course, don't have illegal screens or travels as much as possible or step on the end line. And you got to do a better job on a fast press break offense. Because that does concern me a bit. And make your free throws count. So, that's pretty simple right there. And granted, I don't know what the stats on Keontae George is. I know he did walk out with a boot. But after the last game going to the parking lot, from what I saw on Twitter, I don't know if he's going to play. I would highly doubt it, but you never know. But if he gets to play, he needs to step up. But if nothing else, you got to have Adam Flagler step up. You got to have Langston Love. That's probably going to be a starter. I would think either that or Dale Bonner. You got to have him step up. LJ Cryer needs to step up. Jalen Bridges needs to step up. Flo Thamba, he had a great game yesterday against Texas, and we need him again. I mean, combined the previous 4 games prior to yesterday, 12 points and 8 rebounds. That's a problem. And he did that a lot better last game. And he does need to not turn the ball over so much. And you got to have Jonathan Chachua step up. If Caleb Lohner needs to step up, he needs to step up. Same thing goes for Josh Ujuwuna. And Jalen Bridges, he led the way yesterday. Not those guards, Baylor guards. So, you got to come out with energy. And you got to take away the crowd out of this game as much as possible. And Oklahoma State's desperate right now. They're on the bubble. You don't need to give them it. Just be aware of how feisty they can be. So, and of course, make adjustments as the game is going on. So, and explain Oklahoma State's been reeling a little bit as of recent. I'll go over what they have done recently in recent games here. So I apologize if I'm looking at their schedule right now. I can't memorize everything. It's hard. Trust me. I mean, they lost the last 4 games here. The only win they have is Iowa State. And that was even at their place. And Iowa State's falling off too. So, yeah, they lost to Kansas at home. They lost to TCU by 25. They lost to West Virginia by 18. And they lost to Kansas State by 5 points. So, they're playing not as good right now. Part of the reason being is because Avery Anderson is hurt. He's one of the better guys. So, still, you can't take this game for granted. This is another opportunity to get a quad 1 win. You need to improve your NCAA tournament resume and keep yourself afloat and try to get the highest seed possible in the Big 12 tournament. I mean, right now we would be a 4. Which is not bad, but I know in order to be number 3, we got to win the next 2 games and hope Kansas State loses once. That's all it takes. Still, you got to control what's in your favor. So, you need to come out there and show Oklahoma State who's boss. And we're not here to mess around. And got to get the crowd out of the game and fight all game long. Not like physically fight, I'm just saying mentally fight. As in, we're not going to back down to you despite being on the road. And I would say if you get a win here, you could give yourself a good chance to be a 2 seed in the NCAA tournament. And hopefully Keontae George is going to be alright in the long run. I just don't know if he's going to play in this game. tomorrow. Anyways, if you like this content, like and subscribe, and see you guys later. 5 subscribers are on the road to it. Let's go.